Hello and welcome, welcome. I was just looking before we started at some names, and I'm so happy to see some of you guys again. I haven't seen you for a long time. This is wonderful. Wonderful that we are connecting again. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. It would be actually interesting, like also to connect a little bit and hear what you guys are saying and doing. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. Today, well, it's probably the most fun day of the whole master's program. It's the day when we're going to be presenting the finalists of the Astra Award for the best grade for summer 25 semester. Absolutely beautiful work I'm going to show you today. What we did in comparison to the last year is we decided to limit it to 10 people. We said, okay, this is the maximum. And then we had to be very, very selective. So just so you know, there was at least another, I would say 5 or 6, that works that could easily be in this top 10. But, when we were when we decided, look, we have to limit it to 10 because it just, for the duration of this kind of presentation and for you guys to be able to decide, it just really kind of makes it much easier. And so what you're going to see today are what we believe are the best 10. However, there are many more that are incredible. And we're going to share all of them on our website. As you probably heard, we're going through the rebrand. We're going to be now Color Grading Academy. And we'll have a dedicated place for all of you guys. So yeah, it's a wonderful moment. We're going to go and see 10 of the best works. Some of them even have videos, so we're going to watch some videos as well. And then based on your votes, the voting is going to start today, but it's going to stay open until the June 3rd. And then that's where we're going to close it. And then we are all meeting on June 5th here in Miami Beach. There is a wonderful cinema, an old cinema. We really love it. And that's where we're going to have the ceremony. And also we're going to reveal who has won the award. There will be 2 Astra Awards that we're giving. There's 1 Astra Award for the best grade and 1 Astra Award for the best thesis of the semester. So both super coveted. And yes, the voting is open to all. You don't have to be student of this semester. Anybody can vote. And we're going to share the link for voting publicly. Actually, when I'm talking about link for voting, let me just go and share it right now. So in the chat, guys, you should be able to see it. I'm going to, not sure if I can pin it or something, pin for everyone. There we go. So there we go. It's pinned now. This is the link. And the way how voting works is that you can give to all 10 finalists your vote or not. I mean, you decide, you just give between 3 and 10 points to any of the works that we're going to present. And then we're going to combine all the points that works have earned, and simply the one with the highest amount of points is going to be the winner. So yeah, very simple. But the competition is tough. I have to tell you, this was a very good semester, and we had some really, really interesting work. Some really good artistry as well, some really amazing work. I think we definitely, will have to, have another session where we're going to talk a little bit more about some works that are not necessarily entered into the finals, but there was some really, really great stuff that I think I'm just going to open for the students and just, go with them through it and give them a little bit of feedback on some of the stuff. But yeah, without further ado, oh, we've got some more people coming in. Luis is now busy doing a job for one of our corporate clients, so he's not able to join us today. So it's me managing, the Zoom and the presentation, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to do that. Okay, so let me go and now start sharing my screen, and then I'm going to go and take you slowly through all of the finalists, and then, you'll see it's going to be really, really fun. I'm going to keep my chat open here. And yeah, so we'll start in no particular order. I'm not sure exactly how the order was done, but through the whole kind of sorting and so on. So there is no best worst or anything like that. They're just we're presenting 10 that have scored the highest in our initial voting. Okay, so the first work that I would like to present for your consideration is work from Santiago, Montenegro, Perini, and it's a project called Tres Mujeres. Okay, so I'll take you through it a little bit. So Tres Mujeres is directed by Tomasa Congote and was shot by Jose Luis Osorio. And it's a movie about Kali. She's 8 years, lives with her grandmother, an eccentric and marginalized octogenarian, which probably means she's 80. Right? With her, she enjoys freedom, but faces the judgment of the neighborhood. So she's a character, right? No. And we find out that's not it. The actress who plays Barbara is my grandmother. This film isn't about Kali. It's about my grandmother, my lineage, my fear of seeing ourselves as truly as we are. I mean, I love this, I love it. I love it. I love it when the people get a little bit personal about all of this. So Santiago has just, revealed that. So let's see. So the theme in the short fiction film blends elements of documentary and audiovisual essay formats. The protagonists are Kali, Barbara, and the director herself, whose presence is conveyed through voiceover. Oh my God, interesting. So these are the references. What unites these three films and makes them key references for this project is their bold use of color at emotional extremes, muted tones, deep cold palettes, warm palettes, intimate hues. The shifts are never arbitrary. They reflect memory, silence, trauma, and revelation. So actually, what I really value, what I really like, is the choice of references when I'm analyzing the work of some colorists, and especially when these references are not kind of the regular movies, Blade Runners and stuff like this, right? So and some of these references actually kind of I look at them and I write them on my list of movies I want to see, because some of these movies I really don't know. I actually didn't know I heard of Sacrifice by Tarkovsky. I heard of it. I've never seen it, but now when I see it, I'm like, oh my God, really, this is looking amazing. Noche de Fuego by Tatiana Hueso. Again, I don't know this film. I really want to know what it is. And El Secreto de sus Ojos. My God, Juan Jose Campanella. Beautiful. What this warmth, and Tarkovsky always crazy. So now this was all shot on Arri Mira, Sony A7, and an iPhone. The reality of today's productions, right? And look at these looks. Look what Santiago did. Look how film is shifting through the phases. How we have the crazy grandma moments. The little girl, the warmth. The life. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. I love when I see that there is a shift in the grade is telling the story. So he starts with the everyday world. This is the external, observable reality. And then we move to the inner world of Kali. And so this is world exists in a private and emotional space between the characters. And you know, like, look how he uses glow and how he's kind of showing that this is some sort of, you know, dream world, not a real world, you know, like unbelievable, right? And then the inner world of Kali Barber and the director, this is the, you know, emotional space between them, you know, look at that. And then the layer breaks away from time and space, and this is where it all becomes unclear, you know, and look, you know, this kind of nighty, and again, I mean, unbelievable. And I love when pictures tell the story. I really love when pictures tell the story. And there we go, you know, look at some of this, you know, where they started, you know, the Rex 9, where they ended. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Beautiful cinematography. I have to say that I love the camera here. I really love it, you know, like it's just so beautifully framed, you know. And the girl loves the camera. I mean, she's like just filling up this frame, like, you know, I really, really love it. I actually would love to see this film as a film. Santiago shared with us his note tree. Really interesting, I have to say, like, you know, not too complicated. I love how he does a lot at the front. You know, he works with MTF and lens modulation and negative grain. You know, he separates grain, really interesting. You know, and then, you know, he does like a, you know, not really complicated note tree. And then he has this post-processor, a lot of texture, you know, print grain, lens diffusion, haze, halation. I mean, unbelievable. I love it, which is where this look comes from. We have a little bit video. I'm just gonna play it with you. I can't, you know, pipe the audio, so, you know, might be good, but it's good for us to have a look at it, you know. Look at it.
En el fondo
the
del
lens
mar.
simulation here, you know.
Y tú me estabas enseñando a nadar.
Granny is
Luego
awesome.
aparecíamos frente a un espejo. Mi mamá y yo nos estábamos encargando de arreglarte para salir. Y tú te estabas quedando en un hostal. Y había ese problema de siempre de que te van a echar.
Beautiful.
Cuando lo soñé, estaba tratando de encontrar nuestra historia. ¿Cuál era la historia?
Beautiful. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that Santiago deserves your points, and I think he definitely does, please go ahead and enter your points for him, but don't submit your form yet. We have 9 more participants to go. Just mark your points for him, and then I would like us to move to the next candidate. Okay? Next, we're going to Rosa Sanchez. Really, really interesting concept. Okay, so this is what Rosa does. Okay, so she took a movie called Island for Rent. Actually, like she explains it a little bit, so let's go. So she first encountered Island for Rent at a festival in Sardinia, where the film's atmosphere and moral weight stayed with her for a long time. Then she moved, you know, to connect the director and ask if he would allow her to work with the footage. So she went basically and said, hey, would you mind if I was to do something with it? And then as she found developing the visual approach, she found herself instinctively drawn to the paintings of Francisco de Goya. You know, this is, I actually loved it. Every semester we get like kind of, you know, some, you know, like somebody who's a little bit more into arty world. I love it. Actually, we had like 3 students that did a great art projects. But you know, this is interesting. You know, she's really using the Goya as an inspiration for the look. You know, and I love this when this happens. You know, this connection. You know, when you look at these tones. You know, look at those contrasts and the resonance. You know, and everything. I really, really love it. I really love it. Actually, and when you start seeing now the footage, you know, you'll see actually how right the Goya's choice was. And then, you know, like you go and you look at these, you know, like references, you know, how she graded it, and it's just amazing. I mean, look at these palettes, how beautifully they work together, the contrast and everything, you know. And anybody who tells you, can we really reference classical paintings? Man, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I don't know. It's really striking. This connection is unique. Oh my God, look at this look. Look at this look. Just look at this lady. Look at this character. You know, I adore it. I absolutely adore it. Oh my God! And look at the atmosphere here. How she beautifully closed it, and you know, like I'm amazed. And then you see the contrast. You see the separation between, you know, the directional light and the shadow part of her face, and here as well. Beautiful, which is really Goya's kind of style. It's like he's spotlighting everything. In Goya's paintings, darkness breathes with memory, violence, and truth while regrading the final moments. And in Island for Rent, I try to inhibit some darkness, allowing it to surround the character, to weigh in them. I love it. You know, I'm pretty sure that there are cinematographers out there now who, if we were to see this, they would be like, who is this girl? I want to work with her. Because, you know, in my experience, cinematographers love darkness. You know, if it would be to them, you know, the movies would be much darker than what they are. They love dark. There's always this fight with cinematographers. How dark can we go? Right? I love it. I absolutely love it. So, guys, if you think that Rosa deserves your vote, please go ahead and give her your points. I think it's an absolutely unique work, absolutely amazing, you know, aesthetically beautiful. I really, really congratulate you, Rosa. Like such an amazing work. The next candidate for the, or finalist of the award is Milana Knight. And she has worked on a movie which is called Mystic Stylez. Okay, so let me explain a little bit what this is. Mystic Stylez was directed by Giovanni De Fazio Fleming, and photographer was Francis Belanger, I suppose. And it's a 90s hip-hop horror short. God, I love this. 90s hip-hop horror short where music and something darker meets. A rapper, desperate to establish himself, turns to an occult ritual to boost his art. Sinister forces twist the reality in the film that lives and breathes the darkness. Oh my God, we have a darkness is the theme so far, right? She took her movie Collateral as a reference, really interesting. But actually, I think it was a reference because now you will see. Then she has Atlanta. I love it. Yeah, you know, kind of, you see now this 90s hip hop theme, right? The look strategy, the story is set in the 90s, so it should prompt nostalgia. Film emulation is key. Rich color, heavy grain, softened highlights, slight halation. Sinister tone, the cinematic color separation of Collateral amplifies the serious tone of the story. Shadows are cool and skin is rich. Absurdism, heavy shadows with strong contrast and grain gives the narrative the fable-like quality of Atlanta. Okay, so this is the beginning of the film. You know, when he's kind of, you know, in his room in his studio, right? Dark thoughts play secretly through his face. All right. So now, you know, she's like a, you know, but look at the grain as well. I love it. Look how, then, you know, he's trying to regain control. You know, she's increasing the contrast. Then now she's like on this kind of dangerous moment. We go even higher. You know, the contrast is peaking. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Tonality is a kind of that she's bringing the relief, so you can feel how she's playing with the contrast again to make audience feel the moment of relief. Then Dante is realizing the shadows are getting stronger. Reality begins to distort. And look how her color separation starts working. You know, I mean, look at the 709. Look at her, what she's doing here with the skin. Look at the teal and kind of, you know, orangey feel in it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I love what she's doing here. Look at the highlights. Look at the glow. Look at this. I mean, you can tell that this is not a big budget movie, right? And that they're shooting at night with hardly any light. But I mean, when you look at these shots, you know, like just something like this, right? You just go like, wow, you know, made it look like real film. We get a little bit like a, you know, Shola test, which is super clean. Look at this contrast curve. It's just absolutely amazing. So yeah, I love it. I really love it. Great work. So guys, please, you know, I pinned the link on the top. Click on that link and just go ahead and put in your votes for Milana. Really, really, really well deserved. Beautiful grading. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to a really interesting project. And it's by Robin. And I think, I'm not sure, I'm going to try to pronounce it in the original language, which is Õnnelikke surnute, I believe. And I think it means, let me see again, like he actually, I think, gave us like a translation. It is, there we go. So it is, let me check. I think there is a translation, a story of lost souls, that's it. Unbelievable. 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 I have to say, this is one of my, wow. Okay, so watch this. So in a quiet, isolated hotel, okay, strangers arrive carrying the weight of lives that have lost direction. Each guest is suspended between past mistakes and uncertain futures, gathering not to escape the world, but to understand why they no longer belong to it. And through this intimate confession, intersecting stories, the film unfolds as a poetic, reflective of misfortune, loneliness, and the fragile hopes, rediscovering purpose. Unbelievable. Okay, now let's go through this. So the creative direction embraces a bold filmic aesthetic that moves away from realism and into more theatrical, dreamlike space. A carefully shaped palette, greenish accent in highlights and snappy contrast. Soft, smoky shadows, and so on. Let's see. These are the references. So the intent of references is to capture different aspects of filmic rendering to transfer it into look, rather than to be exact match. Really interesting references. I don't know what he picked here, but it just looks amazing, you know? This is really nice. It's all the different references. I love it. I love it. I love it, you know? So he's analyzing a little bit the references first. So he says cyan blue bias is in the shadows, greenish yellow, bleached and soft top end, 35 millimeter grain, deep and saturated reds, and so on. So basically, really, like, he goes through the references first, analyzes elements, and then focuses on the elements rather than the references themselves. Really, really interesting. The note tree, little noise reduction, texture, you know, primary, then he calls something volume, then skin. Unbelievable. Look how simple it works. Look at this. Then he has a little defocus, halation, you know? Nothing too complicated, nothing crazy, you know? Look at that, right? But then he has a whole part dedicated to texture. This is the modern, you know, this is 2026, guys. This is what colorists do today. You know, if you think about it, like, look, you know, he's like, you know, he has like a very, you know, modest note tree for color, and then he moves into texture. And in works the whole texture through. Grain, lens, diffusion, haze, glow, totally in control. I love it. I love it. Then he develops even a custom lens design with vignettes, modulation, transfer function, the curve, lens distortion. Unbelievable. So, and then the look node tree. Like this is probably what he used, kind of to build the whole look, and he's really going step by step, So look, there's kind of, saturation curves. I don't know, like he's got lots of effects here. I'm not sure exactly, but basically he's not just kind of building, the look as a kind of, some show light. He's definitely going and, dialing in every element separately. And there we go. This is the show light. We see that kind of very rich shadow, but beautifully, like there is a pedestal on it, nothing's crashed. Gorgeous. Look at this, the curve. Little pedestal, but look how beautifully shaped they are. No breaking in anything. Like looks very, very nice. Okay, so let's go. Wow. Look at that. And I think this is that kind of lens simulation work that we can kind of feel in it, right? It is color, but it's not in color. This look lives in texture. If you were to remove the texture nodes, you'll be looking at just a standard Netflix show, right? Look at this. Look at this. Wow. Look how beautiful glow he gets to these lights, Look at this. Look how they're different, like there's a little halation as well. I mean, unbelievable. Wow, look at this. Look how he's defocusing, He's putting a lot of defocus. He's like, this is like this kind of, observing, like you're watching. Look at the defocus on these parts of these faces. I mean, unbelievable what he does here. Unbelievable. I love this stuff. I love this style of grading. I love when we go out of the color. You know this. You know that I love it. I mean, I am, my God, look at these kind of defocus elements here as well. The close, unbelievable. And there is something about this Nordic cinema, that I don't know. I'm in love with Swedish, dramas and so this kind of Norwegian movies and I don't know. They have something that alternative that cinema kind of is missing. The commercial part of the cinema. There is this kind of I really love. Look at the amount of defocus here. How beautiful this is. And again, you can see how much color contributes to this whole film, because again, it doesn't look to me this is an expensive production. I mean, they all shoot like on a single location with with probably no like a way to mount the lights above on the ceiling. This is the real building, so this is not a set. So the lighting probably couldn't be ideal, but with the way how he's putting the grades and what he's doing here is completely. Oh my God! Look at this one. Look at this. This is a style on its own. Like this basically becomes a new style, almost like the set itself. This look. Oh my God! Look at the contrast palette here, skin tones. I really want to see this film now. I really want to see it. Oh my God! I can't tell you like how much I love it. And like Rosa's film as well is in Italian. I kind of missed to hear Italian in films. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Guys, I think, can we please give Robin more round of applause for this absolutely amazing work. Wow. Wow. Oh my God, Oh my God. Oh my God. I actually I don't want a comparison. He does these comparisons. I mean, but look at it. I mean, just look at 709. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's just like, oh, I can't look at it. I don't want to show it to you. You'll be so disappointed when you see how this film really looked like. One more. Oh. Look at this. Looks like a documentary. Like, what is this? Amazing work, man. Amazing. 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 I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, really, really well-earned place in the finals. So please, guys, go and give him your best vote. He deserves it. Robin did a great job. Okay, next we're moving to Lucía Blanco, nature documentary. Now, I have to tell you something interesting about Lucia's work. Okay? It's not this traditional kind of, again, why I love it is because it's different. Okay? And when I was watching this work, I reminded myself, like when I was, teenager, I liked nothing more. I had a neighbor who was subscribed to National Geographic magazine. And because it was hard to get the National Geographic, it wasn't sold everywhere. You had to go to special, bookshops to buy it. It was imported, and stuff. It was really hard. But he had a subscription. He had every single National Geographic magazine and shelves full of it. And I loved nothing more than to knock on his door and go there. And he was like a teacher, a professor. So he encouraged me to, read the magazines. And I would sit in his living room and I would pull one, National Geo magazine after another. And those images, probably that's when I've fallen in love with beautiful images. I think it was the National Geographic photography. Unbelievable. Oh my God, back in the day, where they used, Kodak portraits, when they shot on film, right? When the things were just looking unbelievable. And when I looked at this, it really brought that memory back to me. It really brought that memory back to me. So what Lucía does, she develops a look for documentaries. This is a natural history documentary. I personally also spent time working them. I did the Blue Planet and Earth Flight. I did some really big documentaries for the BBC in my professional career. And I loved working on them. And I remember when we switched from documentaries that were shot on some sort of mini DVs to documentaries shot on RED. And we started grading them for look, not just to rescue the image, when we started really building it. And that's when it really documentary started. One documentary I even had to master for IMAX screen, which was crazy, because, so what this to me is how documentary should really look like. That kind of aesthetic of National Geographic magazine on a motion picture screen, right? It's just, really what I'm after. Look at it. It's called, this is like a postcard. It's a concept grade. I don't think it was a real job, but these concepts are just unbelievable. Summer. Look at these beaches. Look how she cleaned this, the ocean, the separation. And there's this just right amount of contrast. I don't know what it is, this kind of combination between depth of shadow and a level of saturation. And that saturation is kind of, dense. Oh my God, look at this, summer. Wow, spring. Oh, wow. You really have to breathe for the moment when you look at it. Gorgeous, the dynamic range between this highlight and this shadow here is unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. Look at this, guys. And goes. And then, wow. Then autumn, right? Look what she does. Look how she calms the light. She puts cloudy kind of light sources now, right? So everything's a little softer. Look at it. Look there. Oh my God, this is just unbelievable how she lifts the color contrast of this. And I don't know, this is to me you see why why I told you, why my memory took me to the National Geo days. Beautiful, the winter. Beautiful. And then, look at she brought the color of the ocean. Ocean is not just kind of, this kind of, in winter, how ocean becomes just this kind of black mass. No, she brought some kind of deep green into it. Unbelievable. And then, look at the kind of how she brought the sky back in again. I mean, honestly, like every frame is a postcard. Every frame is a screensaver. We don't do postcards anymore. Sorry, we do screensavers. Lucía, it's piece of art. And I love it. Your website says, I'm a luciablanco.art, and you're definitely an artist. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. What an eye you have. I really, really love it. Guys, I believe that she deserves for all the points from you, for being it. And unbelievable. I really, really love it. And interesting, documentary, but documentaries like these, we want more of those, please. It's getting better. Okay, now, actually, I have a full video because it's a commercial. I'm going to play you this. Okay. There is one thing I really love about my job, which is, when I first started, color grading was very elitist. What it means is like, people who were first colorists, at least the ones I was meeting in London, they had a very high opinion of themselves, and they kind of portrayed some sort of, special kind of, and really it felt like, oh my God, you had to be chosen one to be colorist, right? And then also what was really interesting, color grading was kind of always centered like in this kind of, big cities. Like there was only color grading in London, in New York, or LA probably. Like there wasn't like a lot going around. Oh, maybe some other few cities would have like a few things, but this is really the centers. And for years, I remember clients flying in, from all over Europe, right, or even Middle East, to London to grade with us. We were kind of this kind of pioneers of digital color grading, and then clients would literally fly in to do this work because you couldn't do it anywhere else. And then when I first started teaching, I always kind of felt like, no, color grading has to be democratized. It's not about anymore like whether you live in London or Santa Monica. It's about, the talent, the person behind it, and then with the Da Vinci Resolve, being democratizing the access to those tools, and with us, moving the teaching away from classrooms into online, we became accessible to lots of people. Jacob is from Nicaragua, and you would not think that you would want to do your color grading in Nicaragua, isn't it? That's not the first country you would think of where to go to get a really good grade. Let me think. How about I go to Nicaragua? No. And then Jacob completely dismisses this. And okay, so let me kind of, I'll show you. You'll understand. Okay, let me show you this. Alma Pinolera, okay? So, Alma Pinolera, the Nicaraguan soul, is the name of the country's most iconic beer campaign. It's produced once every 2 years, and it has become a cultural milestone, a 60 seconds moment when an entire nation sees itself reflected on screen. The word pinolero is how Nicaraguans identify themselves, drawn from pinol, a traditional corn drink that is deeply rooted in the culture as the land itself. Grading this project meant finding a visual language for a country that does not exist in mainstream cinema advertising. There is no established look for Nicaragua the way there is for Los Angeles, Tokyo, and Paris. He's so right. No single film, commercial, or photograph could serve as definitive reference. Instead, the look was assembled from constellation of sources, each one contributing to a specific element of final grade. The challenge was to synthesize these fragments into something that feels authentically Nicaraguan. Not only is this project beautiful looking, as you will see, but actually has an incredible love, the patriotism behind it. You can see how much Jakob loves his country. I really, really love it. How proud he is of it. I chose this project from deeply personal place. It's a commercial I grew up watching, a piece that lives in the collective memory of every Nicaraguan. It represents one of those rare moments when an entire nation feels united in a single emotion. Oh my God, Oh my God, I love it. So the vision is warm, natural, grounded in reality. It's a beautiful place, I have to tell you. I've been there a few times. It's a beautiful place. Like many other Latin countries, has some other problems, but I'm not going to go into that now. References and inspiration. No single one, really. He says, don't worry about the references. I'm kind of looking at stuff around, and obviously he studied. Look at the list of commercials. I mean, he's been through. This guy, has spent must have spent weeks, figuring stuff out, right? Unbelievable, okay? And then, he goes into some music videos as well. I love it what he does. Okay, now, he does, okay, I'll play it like this. We have also a video that I was going to share, but actually this is beautiful. So let me just play it to you. Again, the sound's not going to come across in the best way, so sorry for that. And there we go. Let me see, open it here. Entre volcanes y lagos, y si muriera y volviera a nacer, no nacería en otro lado. Soy un volcán bullanguero, un lago de orgullo, soy un caballero. Soy la belleza trigueña que no anda con cuentos, genuina y sincera. Soy el alma pinolera, desde San Juan hasta Chinandega. Soy el alma pinolera, desde San Juan hasta Chinandega. Soy el cuerpo y el sabor, que hace Nicaragua una. Como mi tierra no hay dos, como mi Toña, ninguna. Soy Nicaragua y Guiriangén, soy Isleta, soy Caudal, soy Madroño y Zacuanjoche. Soy el Cerro Negro y el Anerisque. Soy Ostuma y la Estanzuela. Soy Apalache, soy Cocibolca. Soy montaña y soy ciudad. Soy Nica como el San Juan. Soy el cuerpo y el sabor, que hace Nicaragua una. Como mi tierra no hay dos, como mi Toña, ninguna. Guys, you gotta admit, Jakob puts to shame company threes, frame stores, mills, whatever these places are, that people used to go to grade. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Wow. Unbelievable. I mean, this is, I just have to still pinch myself, I really have to pinch myself. And look at this, they shot on Sony, Red, Phantom, Insta, DJI. I mean, you're kidding me, man. You're kidding me. This is this is not just hey, give me beautifully shot footage, now let me actually put this together. Unbelievable. Oh, he's doing JP Look 2. Okay, again, look, JP Look 2 is used in Nicaragua. I love it. I love this world. Clip node tree. Let me see a little bit. So, he does a little gamut limit as well. Very good. Yeah, of course, I understand why. And then what he does here, interesting. The noise reduction he feeds separately. And then he blends it over there. Interesting. Post clip, dual path. Oh, luminance, chrominance. Oh my God, I love this. I love what this guy does. I mean, now I understand why this looks so good, He's totally separating these two. Wow. No, he does also the rescue masks. Unbelievable. Farbtonmeister. No, not many people understand what that means, but wow. Helmholtz Kohlrausch. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't have words, I don't have words. Okay. Next time somebody asks me where I should grade my commercial, I have a place for you guys. It's in Nicaragua with Jakob. Wow, Jakob. Wow, what a work. Honestly, mate, what a work. You're absolutely exceptional. I have to tell you, this is exceptional. This is exceptional. We don't find this very often. Unbelievable. Guys, please go ahead and give Jakob your votes. He needs it. He deserves it, man. He deserves it. He really deserves the best you can give him. Whatever you think it is, I think he deserves it. He did an amazing job. Okay, now we're moving to a job by Helder Felipe, and it's called Reflorescer. Now, I didn't get from him like a kind of normally breakdown like I got for everybody else, and I was really wondering, should I include him or not, and how to do this, but I kind of, had to. Because even though his presentation wasn't like a normally what we would kind of go and get, you see how every student is so focused in presenting their work in best possible way.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Heider sent me this, but Heider...
Perfect, thank you very much.
No problem.
Well, my name is Juniel, interpreter ID 54717.
What is this now?
Oh,
sorry. Okay, and basically, but I love the look. I was like, you know what? This is special. This is really special. And I really chose this to, as a top, just simply based on its look. And I want to show you this a little bit.
Na escola. E foi tão vergonhoso que eu pedi para mudar de escola. E a minha mãe queria que eu usasse toalhinhas.
Português.
Imagina, toalhas.
Boa noite, Jesus. Sei que já faz um tempo que não falo diretamente contigo. Se tratar por tu, o mundo vai acabar.
Está tudo bem?
É isso que vieste me dizer. Hoje eu vim lhe pedir um favor muito especial. É para mim, mas garanto que também é para o mundo.
Eu disse que foi dramático e continua a ser. E as cólicas?
Hoje em dia, praticamente todas as meninas e mulheres usam peças descartáveis. Eles são todos cheios de plástico. E já sabemos o que o plástico faz no meio ambiente, né? E a quantidade. Meu Deus! Mãe?
Wow. Okay, play error. Sorry, guys. No, I don't know. There is something about this film that really touched me emotionally. I don't know. It's a content and subject, but also I think really the way it looks. I very quickly forgot about the look. And I really love that because. At the end of the day, our job is not about showing our look, even though we are rewarding look here and we are really narrowly focusing. At the end of the day, look is supposed to be invisible. It's not supposed to be the story. We are not the story. Color is not the story. And the best looks are those that you don't see. And there is something about Helder's work that I really felt like this is really what kind of he succeeded. This looked not forced somehow. It looked really, I don't know, it worked. It worked. And this whole thing, the trailer, I'm sorry that it kind of interrupted, I'm not sure. It really looked beautiful. So yeah, I think a great work, unusual one, and again, really unusual. But again, I feel like sometimes picking up these kind of little unusual works is important for us, to support some of this. Oh, I think that this actually job is called Edun. So sorry, Rodrigo, if I have butchered this. I'm really, really sorry. He's our next finalist. And I have a full video. I'm going to play you full video as well, but let me just take you through this. So it's Edun. I'm sorry, I misspelled it over there. So actually, what it is, It's Eden, sorry. Eden is a fashion company whose philosophy is centered around nature and organic materials. For this reason, I chose to use a film look with rich and visible grain. I emphasize the blues and the cyan and enrich the skin tones, reds and oranges, to achieve a strong color separation while nodding to nature's color spectrum. Wow, I have to say these frames were like, it's just striking. Using skin smoothing techniques to clear up skin blemishes without creeping into plastic textures. And you know, I 100% agree. I have not noticed a little bit of retouching here. It looks like, it looks like, yes, this is how they look. Look at this. Making sure to have smooth highlight roll of 100%, my buddy. 100%. Look at it. Beautiful glow on the highlight. With this color proposal, I hope to bring together the core principle of Eden's brand philosophy. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share this very quickly because actually I'm going to play a video. So bear with me. I'm just going to go and play the video. Okay, I think it's advanced video file. That's it. Share. And then it is on my desktop. Where did I put it? There we go. Uploads. And then it's Rodrigo. Okay, sorry, I have to just, because I have it like this. So you should be able now, guys, to see it. So let me start.
If I had a little love, I could make it. I could make it. Every time I try, something standing in my way. I believe, if I had a little love, I could make it. I could make it. So I keep on looking, hoping for a better day. But the things I'm looking for never comes my way. I believe, if I had a little love, I can make it. I can make it. I can make it. I can make it. I can make it.
Okay. Now we're going to Bartosz. Okay. Very, very, very interesting. I have to tell you, Bartosz came kind of from camera side, really, and from television, and I have to tell you, like, his aesthetic was not really in cinema. He wasn't kind of a cinema type of aesthetic guy, right? But then somehow through this whole training program, he completely evolved into okay. Let me just show you this. I think you have to. The reason why I'm saying this as well is because you have to understand from what angle I'm coming from and what maybe my expectation was, what his work is going to look like. Like I would probably imagine Bartosz going to do some sort of documentary or something like that, and then he submits this work. Okay, so let me kind of take you through this. So I need to just go in my view and say single page. Okay, great. All right. After a tragic accident, a young man awakens disoriented and alone in a forest. It soon becomes clear that he has entered an unreal realm, a space suspended somewhere between life and death. Interesting. We have this kind of theme this semester. It was like, I think, with Robin as well, stuff. Drawn forward by a force he cannot understand, he begins to walk as if he pulled towards something. And he begins to, crossing fields, and open landscapes, he slowly approaches the destination of his journey, a final encounter with a mysterious presence guiding him, and so on. Very interesting. It's a mystery shot on Lumix, Panasonic, and he graded it also in JP-Log 2. Really interesting. Okay, so let's go. So the film is divided into 4 parts: the forest, the meadow, the field of grain, and the high of wars. Each section has its own distinct atmosphere. Interesting. Oh, sorry. The final image pipeline is consolidated through tone mapping in the ODT stage using ONOD by Sena 9 of ARI. In addition, each segment is developed in individual show light. Okay, so he does 4 show lights. Interesting. So these are these inspirations. Again, you probably see every finalist we had so far has used references that are unusual. You know what I mean? Like they're inventing. They're not using the traditional kind of big cinema names, for their inspiration. They're really digging into the alternatives. I love this. I absolutely love this. Look at it. And look at these looks. Look at this. This shot on Panasonic, unbelievable actually. On a Lumix camera. Unbelievable. Sometimes I have to pinch myself and go really? Is this really? No wonder there's no one working in Hollywood. If people can shoot stuff like this with a Panasonic camera, unbelievable. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at this kind of how brave he is with these windows. Again, probably the subject of this mysterious offers itself for him to go and push it, and he definitely takes it as an opportunity. He's not, afraid. And this is the surprise for me, because normally kind of people who come from this kind of safe medium like TV and where everything's done kind of by the book and by the rule and stuff, don't necessarily do this. Oh my God, look at that. Look at this kind of, how heavy he is on windows. Look at the grads everywhere. Look at this. Beautiful. And then look. I have to tell you guys, this is like a art piece, it's not like a short. And then he moves into the high force. And wow. You're like, what is this? Is there any more obvious and better way of telling audience that we are now in a different realm? Look how the switch he's making. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow, what a film. And the textures, and the detail, the close-ups, unbelievable. And then you look at the 709. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You see this shot here for me was look, this shot lives on window. The way how he closed and how he really, look at the eye. Look at this eye and look at this eye. This shot was invented in grading. It didn't exist. This is Lumix camera. This is not a Lumix camera. This is a feature film, right? Wow. Wow. Again, the smoothest possible tone curve you can see. Look. Here has a little click. That's what gets the highlight from it. Wow. Bartosz, you're definitely the biggest surprise of the Masters program. I really think so. You know what? If you had asked me, how his assignment's gonna look like, I'd be like, not like this. Not like this. Definitely not like this. Unbelievable. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous work, Bartosz. Really, really, really love it. Really well done. Okay, so let me see. Did I miss anybody else? So Bartosz, I have now. Jakob, I've seen it. Helda, we've seen. Rodrigo, we've seen. And now we have Tony. Wow. Okay. Again. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. This is reality. This is the reality of today's world we live in. Okay. Tony has sent me the work on a movie called Beneath Which Rivers Flow. Okay? And I don't know how to tell. I'm now dying to see this. Okay? Because you will understand why I'm speechless. Beneath Which Rivers Flow. It's an Iraqi movie. Let it sink in. It's an Iraqi movie. You know? In the marshlands of southern Iraq, Ibrahim feels like a stranger in the world. His sole companion is his faithful buffalo. I mean, what a plot. I mean, come on, you guys are fucking kidding me. You know? Him and his buffalo. Look at this. You know, I was like, what is this? What is this? Okay, now watch this now. Let me just go back into my single page view. And so that I can, yeah, there we go. Okay, let me go. So this is the project overview. So director is Ali Yaha, and the cinematographer is Ali himself. No, sorry, Ali Ameer. So that must be brother or something like that. Yeah? Okay? Oh, well. Okay. Short documentary. No, wait. So Tony Ameer and Ali Ameer. So must be a brother or something. Yeah? I would imagine. I didn't say. It's an Iraqi documentary, short documentary set in the heart of southern Iraqi marshlands, an ecosystem undergoing one of the most severe environmental collapses in its history. I didn't even know that. The film follows the journey of Ibrahim, a young herder who escapes into an inner world shaped by imagination and solitude, spiritually bound to his last remaining buffalo. As drought intensifies and wetlands crack open into dry earth. I didn't know Iraq has a wetlands. I thought it's a desert. You know, Ibrahim embarks on a dreamlike spiritual journey that reveals the profound relationship between human and the animal that represents the final thread of connecting him to life. You know, oh my God, this is crazy. Okay, cinematographic and color treatment. Just look at this frame. You know, especially now, you know, that we are so bombarded with this whole AI-generated crap, you know. Look at it in a frame like this, it just makes my heart sink. You know, no AI could ever dream up something like this. No, we don't even believe that reality like this exists. You know, look at it. Look at the framing. Look at that haze. Look at those animals. Look at the look at this guy's face, right? So the film's color approach is derived from the natural palette of the marshlands, a landscape defined by limited yet expressive ranges of tones. The dense green of the reeds, the dark muddy brown reflected by the moist soil, the low saturation natural sky, the fog phase, everyday phase, and drought and that. Interesting. Okay, look at this. It's like I think this is unreal, man. This is, and look at the amount of grain he's put on. Wow. I want more Iraqi movies. Can we please find a way how Iraq can produce more films? If they're going to be like this, please, can we have more? I want more, more Iraq. Lens and texture strategy. Alexa Mini with prime lenses. I mean, the sharpest lenses possible, but, he totally oh my God. He did a film grain, halation, softened sharpness for poetic texture, supporting the gradual decrease in saturation throughout. Unbelievable. Despite notable lens imperfections, soft edges, and reduced sharpness, these flaws were embraced and incorporated into film's aesthetic rather than treated as technical limitation. Thematic, the film is a spiritual poetic journey. Okay, references, I don't know. I mean, you know, I just look at this reference, I go like, I love it already. I love it already. Okay, let's go. Watch this. Ungraded. Boom. Watch it again. Watch it again. Boom. Wow. What a film. I don't know. There's something about this guy's facial expression. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this. Watch this now. Boom. One more time. Boom. I mean, you know what is going on here. What is I'm so thank you God for, you know, and making me see stuff like this. You know, I don't know, like we don't get exposed to such, you know, the real cinema, you know, the real artistry. Wow. 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 Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I really want to see this film. Then he worked out on a color palette, you know, showed us this. The show that looks absolutely fantastic. And yes, 100%. Look at the amount of films, festivals that he got in. Poof. Wow. Tony, man. Tony, unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a work. What a work. Okay, let me see. I must have covered everybody now, isn't it? Yes, I did. Fantastic. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, for the interruption. There was a kind of, one before final. Let me make sure I'm just stopping share. This is perfect. Excellent. Yeah, please go ahead now and one more time, just, you know, look through the list, submit your final, you know, decisions. Now you have a moment to do one more review and decide. I mean, if it's to me, I would give everybody a award, to be honest with you. All of them were just unbelievable. You know? All of them. All works were just amazing. But, you know, one has to win. So, we have to do and decide this together. And this is why I'm happy that I'm not making this decision. You are. You are really deciding who's going to be the winner. We're going to share the voting links, where I'm going to also publish this video, and it's going to be available online so that, you know, from now until the 3rd of June, you know, there is enough time for us to revisit, have a look at it, invite more people to do it. I think that these awards are not just, you know, competition. This is a very educational and inspirational. You have to agree. Some of the examples of this cinematography, the story is just absolutely exceptional, and I'm glad that I'm able to, you know, help you get exposed to such a beautiful pictures. You know, and it's just another proof how Color Grading Academy now. I'm trying to say color training, but yeah, Color Grading Academy. It's just become the center, kind of a focus for this incredible talent to come and join and you know, just develop these most beautiful pictures and honestly, like it's such a focal point. And you know, I really believe that this is the future of color grading. While I don't say that the big post companies are disappeared, they will continue to exist. But we're going to stop to look for best colorists in usual places. This is just a proof that the most beautiful pictures can be generated anywhere. In Iraq, in Nicaragua, if you like. You know? And that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. And that's why I think I would like to invite you all to remove all your prejudice about people you meet, people you find online, people you interact with, and do not judge them based on where they're from. And you know, like, you just trust me. There is so much amazing talent out there that is still completely undiscovered. And, you know, allow yourselves to be surprised. And this is especially a message to all the film producers, directors, and people who are, you know, ultimately choosing with whom they're going to be working with, who's going to be grading the film. You know, open your mind. The world's your oyster as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions or comments. Let me know. Just type in X. Let me hear. Or if you want to just comment and say something, please let me know.
Data exceptional. Everybody's it's so beautiful, and everyone was knocking it out of the park. And in my opinion, they all do get trophies if they're in the top 10.
I agree, man.
So I mean, they already are. They've been honored, and man, you guys crushed it.
Unbelievable, isn't it, Peter? Unbelievable. You know, thank you for sharing this. I really, really, I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. You know, Lucía, well done. So you guys are here as well. I'm so happy to reconnect. So just as a reminder, on the 5th of June at 12 p.m., Miami Beach O Cinema, and we're doing an event. You're all invited. I'm going to share the invites with you. You don't have to be the students of the master's program. It's open to everybody. Of course, the master students get the first access to the tickets, and so they'll come first. And this is where we're going to give the Astra Award. We're going to reveal who's going to get the Astra Award, and we're also going to reveal who got the best thesis Astra Award. And some of the theses are just unbelievable. You just don't know yet, because we're going to wait for the final event before we announce that. And but last time we did the event, because we moved it to Miami now, and last time we did it, it was unbelievable. We kind of finished at 3 p.m. in the cinema, and then I think we didn't go home until God knows what time at night, 11 o'clock or something at night. I don't know. We went to a beautiful, a little, restaurant bar with a nice terrace. We went to the beach and stuff. It's a beautiful event, I have to say. And it's just amazing to see you all get together and just share a moment. So yeah, if you love color, if you've been studying with us, think about it. There's 2 airports around Miami. It's super easy to fly in. There's tons of hotels. This place is invented for that, and super easy to go around. You don't need a car, rent a car, or anything. You can walk everywhere, and yeah, I can we deliberately chose it to be on Friday. So if you come, you have maybe a little weekend as well if you want, and stuff. And there is also lots of other things to do here. It's wonderful, but I think it's worth really considering to come. I cannot tell you what a wonderful moment this is for all of us. So you're all invited. I'm going to as I said, share more information with you. But if you want it now, just email us, myself or Luis, and we'll help you with that. On that note, I want to thank you all. I want to especially thank, my students, because this work makes me want to do more. After all these years, I'm amazed that I never get tired of doing this stuff. That I still want to continue, and because I just see better and better and better and better stuff year after year, and I think that's really what inspires me. And really, really, I have to say, it really, really touches me so deep to see what amazing pictures you produce, and I'm really rooting for all of you to do the best possible work ever. This is just the beginning for each one of you, and I can't wait to see where you're going to end. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Thank you very much for joining, for being part of this, and we will be back very soon. We're going to be doing tons more stuff. So yeah, keep an eye on the invites from Color Lovestream. There's more stuff coming your way. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.